there was a group of protesters who we are told by the state police rushed two police officers trying to get into the Senate chamber. At that point, the police officers took out chemical spray, pepper spray, sprayed them, and eight protesters ended up being arrested. And so now there is a phalanx of state police officers out in front of the Senate chambers, and it's similar in front of the House chambers as they begin to take up this bill.
That was what democracy looked like today in Michigan, where the state's Republican majority began voting on a bill that will dramatically curb the power of unions. Hundreds of people flooded into the Michigan state capitol where the House was scheduled to debate the bill. Police locked down the building until a local court ordered that they open the doors again. The scene in Michigan today looked familiar. It looked like the scenes in Indiana and in Ohio and in Wisconsin, where those states voted to take away the rights of unions. In fact, it was exactly that kind of scene Michigan Governor Rick Snyder, a Republican, had said he wanted to avoid. In February, Governor Snyder looked at those other Midwestern states with Republican governors and workers protesting in the state capitol and decided he did not want that thing in Michigan, not in his historically very strong union state. Governor Snyder said, quote, "You look at now that they've had those things happen. Do they have a productive environment to solve problems? Not necessarily. They're still overcoming the divisiveness, the hard feelings from all of that." At the time, reporters wanted to know whether Rick Snyder would support what is known as a right-to-work law. The idea of right to work is simple. Under a right to work law, employees of a union shop don't have to pay union dues. The employees get the benefit of a union, the higher wages, the better health care, all that, but they do not have to pay for it. And why pay money if you can have something for free? For unions, the results of this are close to catastrophic, which is why Republicans and big business love right to work laws. They are a way of frontally destroying unions. The same Heritage Foundation that will be Jim DeMint's new home says union membership fell by 15% in states that passed right to work. Union organizing fell by half. Passing a right to work law stops unions, and it stops organizing. On the labor left, the Economic Policy Institute reports that wages fall by more than 3% after you institute right to work. And pensions take a hit, too. That's why unions call right to work the right to work for less. With Governor Snyder saying he wanted no part of a fight over right to work just a few months ago, the move to pass a bill in Michigan was, well, kind of surprising. It appears to have started this year with a referendum campaign by union activists to protect union rights. Against Governor Snyder's wishes, they collected signatures and got a referendum on the ballot that would have made it impossible for the state to pass a right-to-work law that Governor Snyder said he opposed, now or ever. That referendum failed by 16 points. That was November. On Tuesday, all of a sudden, Governor Snyder said right to work was on his agenda. How come? Quoting the Detroit Free Press, there is a view that unions must put something on the table if right to work is not to proceed, after having gone ahead with a collective bargaining ballot proposal against his urging in last month's election. So this is payback? Bargaining? This morning, Governor Snyder held a press conference with Republican lawmakers to announce new right-to-work legislation for the current lame duck session. The governor said he was doing it for the good of Michigan's workers. And then the lawmakers explained that they had crafted the bill in such a way that Michigan voters could not put it up for appeal by referendum, the way they repealed Governor Snyder's emergency manager law last month. So it's so good you can't actually get rid of it, even if you want to, voters. Republicans then rushed the new language into a vote at the State House, where it passed by a largely party-line vote of 58 to 52, just before 5 p.m. local time. So, depending on how you look at it, the entire legislative process today took about an hour and a half. This evening, the Republican-controlled Senate also voted yes. House Democrats are now trying to slow down final passage of the bill, and the protesters will likely continue their protesting. Both Governor Rick Snyder saying he will sign a right-to-work bill if Republicans want to take away strong unions in Michigan. There may not be that much that can stop them.